Before we go into the session, I would just do a quick introduction about myself. I'm Pauline, the co-founder of POPCON. And in POPCON, we actually mentor and coach services-based founders, coaches, trainers, and consultants on how to create a desirable and preferred authority brand where future clients and partners come to you instead of chasing sales. If that's what you like, do connect with me over at LinkedIn. The QR code is over there where I talk about entrepreneurship, coaching, authority branding, and LinkedIn strategy. Now, today's webinar is going to be real eye-opener as we're actually going to be talking about how you can move from being just a low-profile, unseen, unheard of founder to becoming a market leader by first to transform your brand. One where your brand becomes the magnet to attract leads and outshine your competitors. And how do we do that is basically by leveraging this platform that we call LinkedIn. How many of you actually have this question at the back of your mind? Yeah, okay. I think it's pretty normal to have that. Whether do you need a personal brand? And today, basically what I'll be doing is I'm going to just flip the script a little bit. Today, it's not really about if you need a personal brand. It's more about why you can't afford to be without one, especially in today's 21st century. So if you can, hear me out. I've got a story for this one. Is it okay for me to just share a quick story? Okay, cool. Now, my side of the story is basically, I was in the corporate training business since 2012. And in 2015, I was actually on the verge of landing a project worth $100,000 from a international MNC company. When I got the text that, I've made it to the final two and they were trying to decide like who gets the project, I actually lost the project. And when I asked them like, why did I not get the project? The thing that they told me is because they were not comfortable with my company and they decided to go with a familiar brand. So going with a familiar brand felt like it was a safe bet. But the irony to this here is I later heard that the event actually turned out to be a disaster. So it really made me realize, like being great at what you do alone isn't enough if you're invisible. When people were to Google me, it was hard to find me online. So this occurrence did not just happen one time. It has happened 2 times, 3 times and more. And I kept, losing sales because even with B2B, their decision is based on emotions as their job is on the line. And that's when it really clicked to me that I needed to get my name out there. It showed me the power of a personal brand. And it's not just about being known. It's about being the first name that comes to mind. So it's about people knowing your work before they even meet you. But guess what? I knew at the back of my mind that I needed to build a personal brand. Okay. But I procrastinated. I was surviving. Then in 2019, my friends and I founded POPCON. So it started as a social media influencer marketing agency. Same problem happened. We were a newly established company with no track record and people questioned our credibility again. But who can blame them, right? Because this one is sendiri cari pasal one. So then it hit me again that this is a horrible reality and it's happening to me again because I chose not to build a brand. All of this was literally a serious setback for our business. And we were very furious, with that rejection. And that was how we actually got started on LinkedIn. And that was how, through LinkedIn, we actually 3 times our business revenue. And when COVID happened, we started teaching people how to build their digital brand, build their authority on LinkedIn as it has proven to work for us for our business and our revenue. Like I learned the hard way, In today's time, it's either you position yourself or you will be positioned by others. And the lesson that I really got from that $100,000 wake-up call and also, being a new startup with POPCON, and maybe, for other businesses who can relate to this, is who rely heavily on chasing short-term sales, is you've got to build your brand online. Number 2 is you've got to make it impossible for the next big opportunity to overlook you. Now, why am I saying this is because for us, we know that the best case scenario has actually happened to our clients. So we have actually trained more than 200 entrepreneurs based in Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, as far as Amsterdam. And they've actually experienced the payoff by building their authority on LinkedIn. So in total, they have gotten 15 million in revenue, won 600 plus successful deals. They have attracted 1,000 plus quality leads. in conversations, there are 81 million in potential business opportunities for them. We also have, clients who are like in their late 40s who actually got job offer up to 90% increment. And we also have startups who were once rejected, attracted overseas investors, and companies who literally were so stuck in just local business has now have the opportunity to expand regionally. So that's why our mission is to help Asian entrepreneurs to craft their voice and turn them into business conversion for long-term growth. My main goal today is to give you the roadmap from being a low-profile founder to a highly visible market leader, to help you discover your branding and niche clarity. That's number 2. Number 3 is to share some winning LinkedIn. I would actually not say LinkedIn, but I would replace the word LinkedIn with business strategy instead. And then towards the end, I will share with you briefly about what we do, how we help, and how we can actually move forward together. My goal is to make you not popular, but my goal is to make you preferred. All right. So we're not chasing algorithms. We are building impact and legacies. Chances are, if you're attending this now or watching the replay, you might be asking yourself, do I need a personal brand? Do I need to build my authority presence? And should I invest in building a personal brand? What's the ROI and what kind of impact is it going to have on my business? I would say at this stage, it is too early to decide. Let's not make any decision of a yes or a no yet, but I'll cover it shortly. This is a weighing scale. In the business world, especially in the Asian countries, many entrepreneurs are still very hung up on getting sales in fast and getting sales the old school way. And this is what I actually call the short-term revenue. It's things that you do to get, sales to come into your business fast. So it could be like, running ads. It could be like doing cold calling, SMS blasting, or, running free challenges or trials, doing roadshows, networking events, or maybe, filling up your calendars with free sales calls. These are all things that bring in short-term revenue. And it's actually good because it's necessary for you to be able to run your business, pay your people, put food on the table. And all businesses technically would have and should have, be doing that. Unfortunately, almost all of the businesses that we spoke to are heavily invested in this, and this is the only thing that they do. All right. And on the other end, you have this thing called authority marketing. And this is based on long-term value. Now, the problem with short-term revenue is that as soon as the transaction is over, they completely move on. Whereas for people who is building their brand consistently, creating value for others, creating a positive space for people to lepak in, these are the people who are actually building a much deeper emotional connection with the audience than the person who is actually asking for a transaction thing. So I want you to just imagine this 2 to 5 years down the road, when people who is, doing the authority marketing strategy, when they want you to do something big, or if they ask you for a sale, you feel compelled to do this because you have entered into becoming a true fan versus just a consumer or a client of theirs. Let me give you an example. I'm going to be using a local founder for this, Khairul Aming. In just 3 minutes and 39 seconds, Khairul Aming smashed his sales record with $1.2 million for his Ding Ding Nyet Berapi product. Now, how many of you would like to have that? In 3 minutes, your sales is worth 1.2 million. Everybody who is in the entrepreneurship, business wants to be like him. Like, which entrepreneur don't want to have such, sales adrenaline experience, right? Crazy high demand. There is a lesson here for us to learn. Beyond those impressive results lies powerful lessons for entrepreneurs when it comes to strategic personal branding on social platform. Now, one of the things that we always overlook is, oh, you're so nice, I also want to be like him, $1.2 million in sales, right? But what he did is what we are going to be studying here for a bit. He stick to a personal branding framework. So what he did was he actually made an effort to showcase his expertise to the public, and he used the social media to amplify and to establish his personal brand. If we were to look at his timeline, in 2018, he actually started video recipes on Russell Pop page, and he had 800 Instagram followers then. In 2019, it actually grew to 500,000 followers in less than a year, from 800 followers to 500,000 followers. Okay. 5 years later, in 2023, he started his food business. 1 year down the road, when he launched his product, he had 3.9 million IG followers and 4.2 million followers on TikTok. When he had a product ready, he teased them, and when he told them about the launch, in less than 3 minutes and 39 seconds, the products was all sold, finished, that is worth 1.2 million. So like what Jim says, his personal branding is superb because his followers are no longer clients. They are devoted, loyal fans of his. Because of his consistent personal brand, right? He shows up everywhere where his audience is. So what does this mean is it actually proves that it is indispensable value of being seen in today's crowded market. You have to stand out. You have to have high visibility at the right places, and social platform is perfect for that. Second, when he is consistent with building his brand, followers start seeing him as a trusted figure. Because they trust him, they like him, they know him, they become super receptive when he sells. They have given him the permission to sell. And from there, because of his visibility and his authority, it actually drove a lot of crazy banyak inbound sales. Don't even have to sell hard. Don't even have to do any ads or whatsoever. It was purely because of his personal branding exercise. And what you need to learn is to show up consistently online, because when you do that, you grow a massive follower, and that's where you get to unlock unexplored revenue opportunities. Have you heard about the modern buyer? Modern buyers? Okay. All right. In the past, Oma, okay. Now, remember, in the past, companies, they rely heavily on outbound sales, trade shows, networking events, conferences for lead generation. This no longer works very well because the buying habits, especially post-pandemic, has changed. All right. And then you have these modern buyers. As we know, they no longer like cold callings. They no longer like people, like showing it up in front of them, selling. They also don't like all this spamming of brochures, things that basically interrupts them without permission. They hate it. So the question here is, if they are already so smart and they have all these barriers to push us away, how do we then market ourselves so that we become attractive, that they come to us instead, seeing us as a market leader, and that they want to lepak and stay in our world for a very long time? Now, to get the attention of the modern buyers, definitely it requires a vastly different approach than what we've been used in the past. Yeah? Now, what do I mean by this? This is Aiden. He is actually a client of ours, and he is in payroll outsourcing services. Started his business when MCO hit. And what he does literally is he helps companies manage their payroll so that so that all employees can get paid on time and keep the owners worry-free from all the statutory compliance confusion. If I were to ask you, is the payroll outsourcing services industry highly competitive? It is. It's very competitive. He then chose his business strategy differently. He was smart to position himself as the brand behind his company. His positioning is to show up as the helpful, empathetic, and highly knowledgeable payroll guy who is good in simplifying all these things into layman terms. So that was his positioning. At some point, some of you may also think, I do know some payroll outsourcing people that very good in making me understand when I ask them questions. That's true. However, most of these are actually done behind closed door, one-to-one. There is very little payroll outsourcing people that actually do it for the masses. So you don't actually see them putting themselves out there, creating content, educating the masses, right? What Aiden did is he actually started educating the masses through his content. And when he did that, it actually creates the emotional connection with his followers. So when prospect message him, the conversation is no longer about tell me about what you do, but it's more of I want to engage your firm to handle our payroll. So from the prospect standpoint, they chose him because Aiden was the payroll guy that educated them, and they like his personality. They like his friendliness. They like how easygoing and approachable he is. And that is the differentiation. People recognize you, people see your differentiation, and people prefer you. As a result for him, he actually secured, a 2 years contract worth 14K. Within 14 weeks of the program, he actually got a revenue of 50K, and there was business collaboration opportunities with companies outside Malaysia. So one of the things that you've got to remember is your brand, when you put it out there, it is to create one thing first, which is to create a preference in the mind of the consumer. Guys, the shift has already happened. If you don't brand yourself online and you still want to rely on traditional, slow, and almost obsolete strategies, it will eventually slow down your business. Because of this shift, when it comes to B2B sales, B2C sales, everything starts and ends online. So I hope you can actually see how this plays out with, building long-term value. Brand building is all about creating that affiliation, that bond, so that you become desirable. So it is actually an emotional thing. And smart founders who know this are already applying it to their businesses, products, and services. I want you to just imagine in the next 1 year, how would life look like, if you don't always have to just chase for short-term revenue, but, because of your long-term branding exercise, it is able to help you to reduce a certain percentage of your short-term revenue activities. I hope you guys, will use this to set up your bigger future. So a brand is a preference. If people don't have brand, then you're just a commodity. When you're a commodity, the worst thing that will happen is the prospect will have low interest. They will see you as a low value item, and they will not have, that demand or drive to want to engage you, and they will always put you into a price comparison mode. So remember, guys, when you don't build your brand, you will be positioned by others. Okay? Now, which is why for us to be taken seriously within the business world, we have to look at how we can increase the perceived value of our brand, even when our product and services is not much different from the rest. It's important for you guys to remember that if you want to build your brand, do not focus on factual information, but to integrate factual information into a story so that it becomes appealing, because story has the stickiness effect. Stories wins the heart, and it makes people believe in the brand. Like what Jim mentioned, trust is the ultimate currency. So for us, we need to build our brand out there so that we can gain the attention. Why are we actually in a great place to build authority on LinkedIn right now? It's because the power has shifted. We can actually, show up, share, and interact with anyone. And done right, it can be amplified to thousands, even in millions. And social media, if you know how to harness it correctly, it can become very powerful for every one of us here today. And it's free for us to leverage. There is two things that you want to establish: believability and trustworthiness. Imagine your clients, your community, all saying good things about you, and all the information, right, is shown on your LinkedIn. What happens when potential people check you out? Will that increase their believability in you? Because it's not I say I'm good, but there's so many other people that is saying good things about me, right? Will that create closer trust in you? Because when we come to impression management, subconsciously, they are going to talk to themselves in a way that they say, hey, I actually feel like this person, I'm comfortable with, I can trust with. So with that believability and trustworthiness based on what they see on LinkedIn, will that get them closer to DM you? And the answer is yes. So what can you do now? How can I differentiate myself from my competitors? How can I grow my following? Everything starts with brand clarity. If not, everything is going to fumble. Okay? Your brand clarity is your North Star, and it will pull the right tribe and opportunities that is meant for you into your world. The thing here is you got to simplify your personal brand. You want to describe yourself and make it as simple as possible to understand, because complexity and confusion is the enemy of attracting the right people. There's these 3 questions I want you to answer. I want you to reflect on what you stand for and how you want to be perceived. So what is your brand personality? For me, example, it would be cheeky, direct, honest. Okay, so what is your brand personality? And then what is your superpower? So for me, my superpower is I dare to challenge. I dare to ask tough questions, empathetic coaching, and also great in problem solving. What's your superpower? What do you stand for? Example would be for me, getting Asian entrepreneurs known so that they can build a global brand through online branding because they well deserve it. So what do you stand for? What I just covered here, these 3 main points, it's literally for you to use it as your North Star, because when you start putting your brand on LinkedIn or any social platform, this is the thing that you would always want to have the essence of your content to show up, your personality, your superpower, or what you stand for. Yeah, it could be like, what you are solving in the market. That's why you're in business. Or if you're not, an entrepreneur, it could be like, I stand for women equality for the C-suite level. So it could be that. With the brand clarity in mind, then we want to bring it to your LinkedIn profile section. So I want to show you how you can actually optimize your results on LinkedIn. Now, first thing that you got to bear in mind is, are you easily found? When someone looked at your profile for just a minute, what would they learn and know about you? Can they immediately grasp who you help and how? Can they immediately capture the essence of your professional mission, expertise, and the value you bring to the table? And more importantly, what impression would they leave with after visiting your profile? Would they see like, this one are very hard selling, or this one are very resume, or this one, I don't know what she's saying, Because you'll be surprised at how little money people are actually making, because many business opportunities lost on the LinkedIn just because their LinkedIn profile doesn't have a specific or clear direction or call to action. This is your best sales page, and you have to really work on it. I'll show you an example before we go into the exercises. This is Nina Justin. She's Malaysian, based in Amsterdam, also a popcorn student. I want you to just notice how, it immediately just stands out and grab your attention. It clearly shows you what is her uniqueness, where she does traction through resilience on these 3 areas. Okay. And how she differentiates herself is through her headline. She is a resilient mentor. And what she does here is she actually calls out her target audience, which is she works with young companies. And how she helped these young companies get traction is through these 3 areas, which is the business strategy, operation, and team. So why is this important? It's very important because when Nina Justin posts content consistently, okay, a startup from Silicon Valley actually checked her profile out. And from there, he decided that she is the perfect mentor for him, because whatever that she has put into her profile and her content, he could resonate that he had all of that problem. He dropped her a DM. Long story short, she closed a sale worth $250,000 in less than 4 months. Why am I sharing this? The key point that you want to take note here is you have to first understand your audience. What keeps them awake at night? What are their worries? What other inspirations do they have? What are the negative experiences they have had in the past? And you want to use all of their words and include it in your profile. So you don't come from assumption, but it comes from your client's mouth itself. The 3 questions that you want to have to build a sales converting or a client converting LinkedIn profile is, number 1, who is it for? You've got to be specific. Have only one niche in your mind. Okay, because if you target everybody, you're going to get pasar malam. Number 2, what is the burning problem that you help solve? What is the headaches that they have that you solve? And how do you solve that problem in your unique way? Okay. Lastly, what do you want your audience to do when your target audience visit your profile? So it could be like, a call to action, like sign up for my newsletter, join my waiting list, or it could be like, visit my website or have a discovery call. Because if people don't know what to do and have zero clue, after they see your comment, your post, your LinkedIn profile, but you don't tell them what to do, they will just leave. So you've got to be obvious with your communication. And that's how inbound leads actually take place. The next thing that you want to ask is, as I'm building my LinkedIn profile, you have that one niche or target audience in mind. Now I want you to just think, what is the biggest perceived pain that your ideal client is experiencing? What is the biggest perceived fear your ideal client is experiencing? What could happen if they keep ignoring the pain and don't solve the problem? I'm going to give you an example. All of the questions that you have then, answered, right, will be built into your profile. Now, I like this profile. This is not our client, but I just love his profile. Your banner is the real estate. Okay. You want to always ask yourself, is my banner hitting on my niche market's main problem? Is it provoking? Is it, creating curiosity for them to find out more about what I have? Now, it's good to always keep your banner clean. You don't have to be a great designer because less is more. When you present the banner, you want to approach it from your target audience point of view. If I'm a man and I come across Alex Hall's profile, the first thing that is going to catch my attention is it says your wife. Let's just say a man that's married, right? So let's just say your wife shouldn't fear for you having a heart attack. It could be I'm a fat man who is married and somehow I came across Alex Hall's profile. It will immediately catch my attention because I know at the back, my wife is always nagging me to lose weight or nagging me about my health and stuff like that. So this is good because it holds the attention. And what will then happen here is naturally, I will then go and look into his headline. Your headline is the most visible, most frequently shown part of your LinkedIn profile. Okay? Why? It appears everywhere, from DMs to comments to search to posts from recommendation. It is actually your best prime piece of estate. So you want to make full use of the first 45 characters. The first 45 characters is the most crucial. Okay, this is the sweet spot. Use that 45 characters, be specific on what you want your ideal clients to read or to see. The things that you must not do is do not just state your job title and company, because that's only information. It doesn't build influence. It's very forgettable. Instead, you want to elevate your headline beyond ordinary. You want to share the value you bring or the solutions that comes with it. What's important here to build your headline here is who are you helping? What do you do? The headaches you're solving and the big wins that they get from you. Now, what does Alex do? He's a DNA fat loss coach. What does he help solve? Avoid heart attack and live a fear-free life. How does he do it? His uniqueness is, through cutting LDL cholesterol is his results in less than 4 months. And then he give you assurance. So for you, what would your headline be? And remember, do not make it salesy. It just has to make sense. The solution has to make sense to your target audience. And if you want, you can actually add a little bit of personality involved. So it could be like, a crime docu-series fan, or it could be like, a Penang Lang, for example. Yeah, at least it humanizes it. The LinkedIn profile has to be designed as such as you are the go-to expert that they've been searching for. Like, oh my God, actually you're here all this while. So this is just one of the formula. In the program, we actually have a couple more formulas for you to choose and to work from. And for your profile photo, you want to keep it recent and you want to keep it to your brand. So if let's say you go to work and you don't wear coat, right? Please do not put a photo of you wearing coat because the branding sudah lari, all right? And if let's say your superpower is smile and all that, but your profile photo is, no smile, cannot see the teeth, and then the eyes also cannot see, then also lari. So then that's why it's important for you to always match all the branding clarity exercises that you have written and check whether, has it been met on your LinkedIn profile. This is your LinkedIn profile power move. When you have done it correctly, it will earn you respect. It will, definitely allow you to increase your price. It will definitely help you to pre-filter your leads. It will be a 24-hour sales landing page for you where people just come in and they know exactly what are you offering and how you can help. And it will also draw the right opportunities to work with you. And it will always sell on your behalf, even when you're in the toilet, when you're driving, when you're sleeping. And the good news here is with the right profile, you will, add substance to your name and brand reputation. Now, the reason why I only highlight that is because with the about section, featured section, experience section, and all that, there is a whole huge formula involved. And all of that is very easy to be learned once you have gotten your brand and niche clarity. Okay, so the frameworks and all that we will provide you once you come aboard. I do have, a lot of people that says that I don't know what to post. Oh, I want to get leads. I do get leads, but I don't know actually what work, or like I'm not a writer. Now, whatever it is, right? All of that conversation, it can be minimized once we start, practicing our content writing muscles. And I want you to just remember this, that content actually is your positioning and your influencing tool. It is your selling tool. So as a business owner, this part is very critical because it is a business strategy, not just a LinkedIn strategy. Okay. Content basically shortens sales cycle. It actually builds brand awareness and helps you get more business. The thing here is with content, it will help you to become desirable. It will help you to be preferable. It will help you to pull the right attention to grow your following. I want you to just imagine this. The more value you create for people, the larger your followings will be. If you have 20 people, okay, who have 500 connection each, and then these 20 people comment on your post, you actually have a potential reach of 10,000 people. And out of that 10,000, 3%, easily 300 people will most likely get to see your post. And that's how you actually get to build followers into your LinkedIn. When you keep doing that, imagine every time you attract 3%, 3%, 3%, over time, right, the compounding effect, you will be able to pull a lot of business opportunities towards you. You will have prospects DMing you that I'm interested in what you do. Can we have a meeting? I'm ready to do business with you. Who here actually thinks creating content is tough? A lot of people make this mistake. Most people approach content by starting from blank canvas. You don't want to start from blank canvas because it is very difficult. What you want to do is this. I would highly recommend you to either, have a notes on your phone, or you can have like notebook, for example. And every time when you go on your doing your daily things, it could be business or yang chowing with friends and stuff. As people are talking, sharing, if there are things that you find it valuable, you write it down. When you're meeting with your clients, ask them questions, listen to what they say, and write or record everything that they say word for word, sentence for sentence. You want to, when they express, their needs, their wants, their pains, their barriers, objectives, their values, their frustration, you want to write all of that down. When you do that, you're not starting from a blank canvas, because at the end of the day, what is your content for? It is to pull more of these clients into your world, right? So when you use what they say, it makes perfect sense for you to then turn it into content and amplify the reach. So what they just said, you want to then capture the stories, capture the essence, capture the emotions. And then you turn them into story-based content using the words that they have emphasized, using the words that they keep repeating, using, the limiting beliefs, for example, that is worrying them from moving forward. And then from there, once you have built that structure, you then want to include the who, the what, the when, and the where. So you want to profile the people. So document it, write it into your notepad every single day. And then when you are writing the content, what you want to do here is, before you write, ask yourself these two questions. Who is this post for? And what is the one thing that I want my readers to learn from this post? So always speak to just one person, but you're writing to millions, and but then it's writing to one. So the content is to actually pique their interest and to offer value to their problems, to their situation. So just know that before the sales happen, content is super powerful because it will help you to eliminate objections. It will actually persuade them into a sale. And for all you know, they are already sold even before they even know how much. So content actually helps you to do the work. Now, let me give you an example. This is Vivian. So when she first started with us, 3 years ago, she's in the finance industry, right? She has actually less than 1,000 followers. If you were to go back in year 2020 November and you see all her content, right, you really can ping someone. It is factual. It has no emotion. But she kept writing 3 content per week, 4 content per week. And in a year, right, she actually 1.5 times her income. And on the second year, she actually 3 times her income. And on the third year, she actually 5 times her income. And all of her leads are inbound leads that came from her LinkedIn content. The reason why I'm showing you this post is because recently she just told me that she did estate planning content, and there was 3 people that actually DM her. So what does this show you is you don't have to complicate your writing. Because if you know your target audience and if they're already sharing stories, you can actually turn it into content where you include all these life lessons or valuable lessons in it. And story sells because you know your target audience inside out. The power move for content is basically it allows your readers to trust you every single time. It actually helps you to remove objections and belief. Okay. And great content is the byproduct of it is followers. And the byproduct of followers is quality leads in the pipeline. So when you say no time, you're literally saying no time to money. Now, the next one, this part here is very interesting. LinkedIn is like your yellow pages. It's definitely the best place to leverage, especially for service-based entrepreneur. Now, what do I mean by this? If I were to use LinkedIn and I just type and search SME, right? Let's just say my target audience are people in the SME industry. If you look at it here, easily there is 1 million people who is in the SME industry. If you know how to command this attention and you pull out just 5% of this population, out of this 1 million, you already will have 50,000 followers. And imagine this, if you have 50,000 followers, right, and you can convert at 1%, that's already 500 potential sales conversation that you have. And the best part about this here is your followers will always keep growing. So more and more people will see. So for those who says that, maybe writing content is a bit tough on me, then you want to pay full attention to this third strategy because this is a running lead generation tab for you. This one here is basically where you can actually increase your demand. And from there, you get to choose who you want to do business with. Literally, when you are doing strategic comment, it's going to help you to increase your profile view. When your profile view increase, it's going to put you in front of new people every single day. With content, maybe you can only do 2 times a week, 3 times a week. That means your visibility is not as active. But with commenting, if you comment 10 to 20 comment every single day, it's going to put you in front of audiences throughout the day. That's going to actually create a huge difference. I know some of you might say, hey, I got actually other work to do, but let me share with you my perspective on this. Like when you go to conference, you easily speak to for example, 10 people, right? But the thing here is with this conference, your time is exclusively with that one person at a time. And most of the time, these people are just very curious, kaypoh, stranger, right? And they will just go and, check you out. And then after that, whether you have a follow-up conversation or the next appointment. But with LinkedIn commenting, your time is an investment to building relationship where your presence is felt and emotionally, you are already making them feel comfortable. Okay? So it's actually much a wiser time investment because you get visibility instead of one-to-one. The psychological trigger that happens from writing a comment all the way until the action of the potential client here is, let's say when you read a post, okay, and this person has 50,000 followers and he shares a post that says 5 hacks to story writing that converts. A lot of people would reply and say, thank you, that was amazing. I can relate to hack number 3. Now, the problem about this here is it doesn't add much value because the thing here is when you say, thank you, that was amazing, I can relate to hack number 3, you are only addressing to the creator of the post. But that means, right, if there is 500 over comments in there, you have actually discounted all of the other readers who drop by at his content space. So the smart way to commenting is not to do what most people do, which is to say thank you, but share the number 6 hack and then thank the creator that was a great post. Because when you share something that is new from the 5 hacks that he just shared, other people will also check that out. And when you do that, it immediately pulls visibility. So more people, more eyeballs, and more profile views. Example, Dr. Azhar has 14,000 followers. And he was sharing something about, young generations nowadays being, for example, not a problem solver lah. And all I need to do here is just talk about how I actually use the if-then exploration concept. And when I did that, I could see that, later in the night, my profile view actually increased. When you know how to do strategic commenting rather than just saying thank you for sharing, congratulations, happy birthday, when you are doing strategic commenting and you do 10 to 20 of those every single day, it's like people reading 10 to 20 mini posts by you every single day. And they will see your name always showing up in their newsfeed, and that will maximize your exposure. That will maximize your brand authority. And that is how authority marketing works. I would say do this as an exercise for the next 3 months, because at the end of the day, the things that we need to build is a daily healthy strategic habit. I want you to just identify 20 big content creators that is within your industries, or who are your target audience who are active on LinkedIn. Just comment on their posts at least 3 to 5 times, and write with everybody in mind. So do not say congratulations, happy birthday, thank you for sharing, or whatever. Put in your perspective, put in your values, put in your insights, put in your life lessons, or perhaps you can pull to certain experiences that you have felt that you can relate to it. Do it consistently for a good 3 months, and you come back to me 3 months later and tell me what is the results. Because I can almost guarantee you that your visibility will increase. Strategic commenting power move is, always remember, comment for everybody. Do not just comment for the author itself. And every single day, if you can, this is strategic commenting is what I call the warm outreach. Every single day, do 10. Because you want to get your name out there. You want people to see and get familiarized with you first. Because when they're familiar with you, eventually they will check your profile out. When they check your profile out and it speaks to them, it makes sense to them, they will reach out to you. They will follow and connect you. If they are the right target audience, they might even have a call with you. Okay? If you can, besides just dropping a valuable comment, if you're reading other people's comment, you can join in the fun and continue the thread. So that's how you can actually form new friends. It's like when you go to a party and you move on to meet a new group and you join in the conversation. That's what you want to do. And I like to leave you with this. Commenting is actually a networking culture. So we have to remember, we are not wasting time being a keyboard warrior. We are building our credibility, we are building our brand, and we are networking. And that's how we actually grow our know, like, and trust. That's how we actually build rapport. That's how we actually eventually get them to check our profile and content out and build an emotions with them. What I've just shared with you is all about maximizing your personal brand, which is your visibility through high quality content, through strategic comment, and also through a targeted profile. So you want to remember to build your personal brand to fuel audience growth. Okay? You don't want to wait to build your brand later, because the progress will be made on your competitor's side. So we've got to remember that people are almost allergic to people trying to sell. But our voice matter. So it's actually a valuable asset that needs to be amplified and be heard. The thing here is people fall in love with personality. So make full use, leverage on your voice, and set yourself apart from the AI bots or from the competitors. But what's not okay here is do not let your brand be positioned by others, because you are then going to give reasons to people to cancel your business opportunity. We are almost at the end of the webinar. And I'm not sure, I don't know whether you guys are saying this, like, I'm game on to build my personal brand. I'm committed to play the long-term game while working on my short-term revenue. I'm ready to build, or to move away the transactional model to a transformative model. And I want to start working with time to deliver values, either for months or for years. For a start, we basically work with the AIR framework model. The thing that we use to build our long-term brand is basically through authority, impact, and revenue. It is a proprietary method or framework that we have actually used across businesses, and it has worked for about 114 different niches, all service-based businesses. So the thing here is with authority, it is basically getting you clarity on your brand and your niche positioning. After you are clear, that's when we actually move over and then start building your activities, which is highly on influencing. And that's going to actually help you to move the needle, to build followers, to build your believability, and also your credibility and your trustworthiness. And from there, once you have all of that in place, this is where you will start seeing your followers grow. And when your followers grow and stuff, in order to maintain that, The revenue is where you want to put into a system where it's a daily and weekly system that will allow you, to attract a lot of inbound leads without you having to hustle and worry about your next month lead pipeline. For today, my recommendation is, this is how we like to work with our clients. For a start, I would highly recommend you to take our air audit questionnaire. So with the air audit questionnaire, it is basically going to be having you to answer all these questions to see where is your gap. So the thing here is, it takes about 15 minutes, but the results can be transformative. Because once you have completed the questionnaire, then we will actually meet for a one-to-one private session for a diagnostic session to run through the report. We'll look into the gap. We'll work on some quick solutions. That's why you'll be like taking notes like crazy. And when we see that, this is fit in terms of you see the value in building a brand, then I'll invite you to join our program. But everything starts from the air assessment first. So for today, basically it is at, 270 because SSD now is at 8%, but our usual rate is actually at $918. And you can actually fill it up. It only takes less than 3 minutes. And what happens here is, after submitting, either me or my team will WhatsApp you and drop you the payment link. Once you make payment within 24 hours, we will then drop you the link to the questionnaire as well as the link to book your 60 minutes private session. On a high level, I'm pretty sure you will be like, okay, but what is it that you provide? We actually have a 14 weeks program that covers in depth on what we have just covered today. So all I've just mentioned to you are all these little puzzles, but it has not been put together into a whole piece yet. So we have that. If let's say you have, a company with a marketing department, sales or leadership team, and you want to take this as a B2B trainings, we also have that. All right, guys. I guess that's it. Thank you so much for today.